allowing us to gather together, Lord, once again. Father, we ask you to continue, Lord, to watch over this county, Lord, and all the members that is here. Continue, Lord, to bless our families. Continue, Lord, to strengthen the bereaved family and the sick and shut-ins. Father, we continue, Lord, to meet and discuss different ideas, Lord. Let us come together as one to make our county a better place to work, live, and play. Father, these are all blessings in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
I didn't know if that was the Holy Ghost or showing up or what with all that noise. So, all right. Thank you, Councilman Woods. Up first, we have approval of agenda items.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All right. We have approval of agenda items. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. It's unanimous. Up next, we have a public hearing. We'll call this public hearing to order for ordinance 807, ordinance to protect county roadways from unnecessary or advanced deterioration and provide penalties for violation. Mr. Mullen?
That was, you've heard about for 2 readings now. There you go. And it's basically to if you have a county road that a logging company or somebody on a 4-wheeler or some other causes extraordinary damage to a road, that staff and codes enforcement can go and give those people a ticket if necessary. We're working hard to get the roads in better shape, and as we do that, we often have to go back behind ourselves where someone's torn the road up. So that's what the purpose of this is.
Any comments, council, from the public? If not, we'll close this public hearing. Next is approval of minutes for March the 9th, 2021 regular council meeting. Any additions, corrections? If not, do we have a motion? We have a motion. We have a second. And a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Old business, ordinance 807. This is ordinance to protect county roadways from unnecessary and advanced deterioration. For our public hearing, we just heard this for 3rd reading. Any further comments?
Is all the county roads identified? So we will have the issue that they didn't know it was a county road or a private road. All the county roads clearly noted that they are county roads. So I know we got some roads like down in Clio near the park. Some of the roads is county roads, some of it is private owned road. But is all the county roads noted as a county road?
County roads have green signs on them. Dirt roads with green signs on them are county roads. Blue signs are private roads. Paved roads are just a handful that are county roads, but the same rules that we're trying to do here, the state enforces as well. This isn't anything different than what the state does already. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, do we have a motion for 3rd reading? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Ordinance 809, ordinance authorizing the conveyance of 1.5 acres more or less of real property owned by Marlboro County located at Industrial Lane to Project Ops, and authorize county officials to take such actions as necessary to effectuate the purposes of the ordinance and other matters related thereto. 2nd reading. Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Chairman, this, as we've explained in the previous meeting, there is an industry at the industrial park that needs to square off their lot in order to expand. So this is a good thing, and we're working to determine exactly the boundaries of that, and we'll have a survey for you before final reading. But this is will potentially create 25 jobs according to the company. So that's a good thing.
Okay. So this is for 2nd reading. So any comments? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we'll set ordinance number 809.
We have a motion and a second for 809. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. New business, ordinance 810, an ordinance to establish and collect a local hospitality tax in Marlboro County, South Carolina. First reading. Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Chairman, this is something that, discussed with the Finance and Administration Committee about whether to go ahead and put it on the agenda, and they felt that we should. It's just the first reading, and there's time to discuss further. But in the city limits of Bennettsville, for example, there is a hospitality tax. It charges a penny on every dollar for prepared food and beverages, and that's used for recreation or tourism or those type activities. So as we look towards a recreation project or any kind of expansion of those type things, this is a source of regular recurring money that could be used for that. The estimates of how much it would bring in for things outside of the towns, because that's what it would be, outside of the city of Bennettsville, it's about $100,000 a year it would bring in. So we bring this to you, staff does, to say, to ask that we start reading it, and then as we move further, we'll have even more information. But it's definitely a means of creating new money, as we've talked, for new programs, which I believe is important. And also, it's not property tax based. So it's something that the beach traffic you see every day would contribute towards. So that's what it is. There are more details and obviously 2 more opportunities and a public hearing to discuss it, further and answer questions. So we would request that you approve first reading with those stipulations.
Alrighty.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you. Ordinance 811, ordinance to adopt the annual budget and to make appropriations for Marlboro County fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30, 2022. First reading, title only. Mr. Mullen, do you want to?
Mr. Chairman, this item and the following item are both part of our annual budget process. And in years past, council has approved first reading by title only, as we're required 3 readings, unlike cities or towns are required 2 readings. So it puts a little bit more, bumps it back, the starting time a little bit further back in the year. And at this time, we're still trying to decipher the revenue for next year, considering COVID and all those concerns. Expenses, we're already working on that, and those are pretty easy to predict. But the revenue coming in is very difficult. So we met last week and we met today for a long time, and the finance department and others, it's been hours and hours and hours on getting this to the next step. So what we ask is to approve this and the next one by title only, and then as we've done in prior years, I will prepare a presentation that's, if you'll remember, takes us where we were last year, steps it up, back down, gives you all the options and all the big ticket items that take us up and down before, the final reading, which will be 3 months from now.
Any comments? Can we read both of those together, ordinance 811 and 812? Was that appropriate?
And I would say yes, but the clerk always, I think we like them separate.
You want them separate?
Probably better.
Okay, we'll do it separate. So we have title only for ordinance 811, first reading.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. Ordinance 812 is ordinance for capital improvement plan for Marlboro County. Same thing, it's all lumped together for 2 ordinances, correct, Mr. Mullen?
Yeah, this will just be the big ticket vehicles or things like that we would look at. And it has no real money attached. It's more of just a plan. But it's like the budget. We'll have it for you as we move forward.
We have a motion for 812. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. These ordinance. Emergency ordinance 813, emergency ordinance to declare a state of emergency in Marlboro County and other matters related thereto.
Well, here we are again, renewing it again. We really felt like we wasn't asked to do this, but it falls like 4 or 5 days or a week before the next council meeting. So we haven't had to use this, but it does give staff a little bit of latitude if we had something COVID related. So we'd ask that you approve it again.
All righty. We have a motion on that? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, it's unanimous. Ordinance 814, ordinance ratifying and authorizing the allocation of certain revenues derived from one or more economic development projects located in Marlboro County, South Carolina, and joint county industrial and business park between Darlington and Marlboro counties and other matters related thereto. First reading, title only. Mr. Mullin.
Sometime back, several months ago, council approved an extended property tax incentive ordinance for Domtar. Domtar had some properties that had come off of the prior agreement they had. And council has been very proactive over the last 3 years in renewing these agreements for all industries as those industries struggle and, you know, in the situations we're in now. This is the second part of that. Basically, when the revenue is going to come from those, we have to say this goes here and this goes there. And in this case, it's necessary because part of Domtar is in Tatum. So we have to make sure that Tatum gets their share of that, and this ordinance would give us the ability to set that. So when we go to second reading, we'll have that split, so you'll see what it is. But it basically just keeps it the same as it was, but it couldn't be a part of the other agreement. Legal mumbo jumbo, but part of the process. That's something that we have to do. The reason it's in that that joint county industrial park that really doesn't even touch is that the state statute requires that in order to be able to set these different splits. And I had a call from the Darlington County administrator last week because one of his council members asked that question, why do we have this with somebody we don't even touch? It's just part of meeting the statute to be able to do these things that we need to do.
Any questions? Not, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Ordinance 815, ordinance establishing the Marlboro County Library Board, first reading, title only.
Mr. Chairman, F, G, and H are really the same thing, and let me explain. When we haven't had new council members in a while, and so we have new council members that are appointing people to their positions they have on these boards. And an instance came up where there was a very, very qualified person that wanted to be appointed by Mr. Stroman, but lived outside that district, District 2. Well, staff looked at it, and really almost all other than these three of your county boards encourage you to put someone from your district in there, but they do not limit you at that, because as we've seen, those that have been on council, and you will see the new folks, it is becoming very difficult to find people in your district sometimes because a lot of folks are already on something else. So these three ordinances would simply change to where, you know, it's encouraged that District 2 put somebody from District 2, or District 5 put somebody from District 5, but it doesn't make it a requirement. And it'll make it a lot easier and to make sure you have good folks on these boards. Like with the library board, where someone has particular skills that will really benefit the library board. So Mr. Stroman brought this to staff's attention, and we worked with him to come up with a solution, and we think this is a good one.
All right. Any more comments? If not, we'll do these separate also. So ordinance 815. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Ordinance 816 is establishing the Marlboro County Historic Preservation Commission. First reading.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. And 817, establishing the Marlboro County Planning Commission. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, that was pretty quick. We voted in a hurry and didn't spend no money. That's what we like it, ain't it? And so a resolution authorizing submission of application by Marlboro County for Airport Carriers Grant for the Federal Aviation Administration amount of $9,000 and authorizing to accept grant if awarded.
Mr. Chairman, I would say this is more free money from Washington, but unfortunately, somebody's going to have to pay for it eventually. But this is a grant without any requirements on our part that comes from CARES grant to cover any kind of preparation or expenses related to the airport and keeping it clean, or separations or barriers or anything like that. So we've been advised to, to take it, because there it is, and so we're asking you to approve that, like we always have in the past with council. Grants require that they come to the council, and some of that's because years and years ago, people would go out and apply for something and not come to council, and then there'd be a match or there'd be some obligation. And of course, this is something we could have signed under the emergency ordinance, but there was no need to do that, so we didn't abuse that. We came to you all with this. So we recommend that you approve this. There's no strings attached. It's something we should get.
Do we have a motion for 042101? We have a motion, second, and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous, thank you. Resolution 42102, resolution expressing support for possible expansion of the Tri-County Industrial Park partnership with Marion and Dillon counties with regards to property in Marion County.
Mr. Chairman, this has been discussed before or brought to council's attention, but we felt necessary to be more formal about it. Currently, Marlboro County, Marion County, and Dillon County are partners in the industrial park that Harbor Freight is in. So, and that's been a long-time partnership since the 1990s when nothing was there. And it's worked very well, and the revenue from that comes to the county, so that's a good thing. Well, it's running out of land, and part of the agreement between those three counties was that, at some point in the future, we could look to expand even in Dillon or Marion or Marlboro County. Well, currently Marion County has a site that is a very attractive site, and they're in a good position with getting help from the state to develop that site. And so they've come to Marlboro and Dillon, and asked for the councils to support looking into that and moving forward with that. I mean, they're in line, or we're in line, to get hundreds of thousands of dollars from the state to help develop that. So it's a good idea, in my opinion, and it's worked very well in the past. The county has 2 seats on a board that oversees it, and the administrators are one, so I have a seat on that. And then we've had, the chairman has an opportunity to be on there as well. So it works well, we work well together, and it is something that I feel that I want to ask council to move forward with.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Number K is review and approval of amended the restated declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions for I-95 Gateway Industrial Park and adjacent commercial property, Dillon, South Carolina.
The I-95 Gateway Park is the alias for the Tri-County Park, so they're the same thing. And recently, a 350,000 square foot building was built there, and Harbor Freight's going to occupy that as well. So every time there's a new tenant in that park, each county has to approve some variances to the restrictions there. And these have been reviewed by the staff and by the staff of the Tri-County Park and attorneys. So we ask that you approve this.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. Next is appointments to boards and commission. Up first, we have consideration of reappointing Ms. Ella Rose to serve on the Housing and Community Redevelopment Authority for Marlboro County Board for additional 4-year term. I think that comes from them, correct?
Yes, sir. That's typically how it works.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to reappoint Ms. Ella Ross.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any more appointments to boards and commissions? All right. Thank you. Up next, Mr. West Park, Finance.
Good evening. I have before you the financial report, and that is as of March 31st, 2021. And the revenues at that point have totaled $9,302,040. General fund expenditures through that same date, March 31st, 2021, total $8,345,000. $51,440 of a $12,038,883 budget, or 69.37% budget year-to-date. As of that same date, the county has $5,050,529 in the 4 general fund operating accounts.
All right.
Okay.
Any questions, comments from the board? Thank you, Mr. West. Up next, Mr. Marlboro.
Mr. Chairman, we have several important items to talk about tonight, but I'll start out with one of our most important, which is to honor the folks that work at the county who have more than 5 years of service. The first is Ms. Patricia Bundy with 8 years, Martha McQuaig with 14 years, Luther Brown with 19 years, Beverly McKeever with 25 years, and Don Driggers with 10 years. So if you see these folks, please give them a pat on the back and thank them for what they do for the county. As we've been doing, we have county team working at the community kitchen tomorrow. Ms. Doris Sumter will be leading that group, and we appreciate her efforts and the other employees that volunteer to help with that. It's a regular occurrence, and I think it is a good thing. Number 2, you'll see that Sandhills Cable, Sandhills Connections is having a grand opening and ribbon cutting at their new facility next to Carl's on the bypass. So it's where the old tire place was, next to Carl's Food. So everybody knows where Carl's is, so that's where it is. It's Friday from 10 to 2, and we'd encourage you to stop by if you have a chance. You know, Sandhill has been a real strong partner with the county, with the broadband. Just amazing what they've done and how they've been able to leverage the funds we got through the CARES Act. So encourage you, if you're free, to stop by and speak. It looks like it's sort of a wide time you can slip by there. So that's a good thing. We're happy to see them have a nice location here in town. We're working on our staff is working on a community cleanup event for the 15th of May. As we've done in the past, it'll be from 8 till noon, but also folks that can't participate on Saturday could do theirs on Friday or really any time that weekend. We've been working with the City of Bennettsville staff to make sure that both the city and the county and the towns, we've had the towns involved, all participate and try to stir up a good crowd to do this. It looks really bad on our highways, and while we wish we could stop folks from throwing the trash out, this at least gives us a chance to start the mowing season in the spring off on a good foot and present a nice look for our county as people go through there. We will try to focus on the main corridors as much as possible, that people are traveling through the county on, and then expand out into other areas as we have teams to do that. So if you have any questions, or if you have a group, or you personally have a group, or you know of a church group or another group that wants to participate, you can contact Ms. Bundy and we'll get them the details. The next item has to do with vaccinated individuals. The CDC has issued statements that folks that have been vaccinated can be in meetings together without masks. And I believe now we're almost to the point that everybody on council has been vaccinated or will be by the next council meeting. So we wanted to get council's opinion on moving back into our regular place of meeting. So Mr. Chairman, we'd ask if there's any input on that. We'll certainly provide spacing for the public that comes in, but I believe by then everybody on council and staff will be vaccinated. Any thoughts?
No, I think that, I'll be glad to get back into our council chambers. I'm glad we could use this area to get here, but always get back in our council chambers. So yeah, that's good with me.
Okay, well, hearing no conflicting opinions, we'll plan on that. If somebody has an opinion they want to discuss one-on-one, just give me a call. We had real success with the newsletter mailed out to everybody in the county. I hope you guys got some good feedback from your folks in your district. And the next one the deadline for getting it together will be May 10th, and then it'll go out. So please get up with me and let me know of any ideas you may have for something that would be good to put in there, or something that you hear folks ask questions about and maybe would help to educate folks. It's a good way to get it out there, and So we're looking forward to doing it again and doing it every quarter during the year. Next item, as you all know, because you all were there, we had a really good community meeting about recreation. And we had the Economic Development Partnership Image Committee there and the City of Bennettsville. And everybody was there, so that's a real success in my opinion. And everyone there seemed to have a real interest in moving forward with improving recreation and those sort of things here in the community. So we took that, and the Image Committee has met since then and are moving forward with finding a consultant that can come in and tell us or give us ideas on what and how to do. And it's sort of, when we met, we came up with a real simple 4 or 5 questions, or 4 questions that would kind of guide what we're doing. And the first is, what do we have now? What does the county have? What does the city have? What do the schools have? Let's look at everything in the county that provides recreation or facilities that could provide recreation. So have an inventory of that. And then, of course, importantly, an important question is, what do we need? Looking at, age groups of folks here and that sort of thing, the demographics that are important to determine what we need. And also, what's worked in other communities like ours. Number 3 is something that important to me and you all as well, is how do we pay for it? So figure out how to come up with money to pay for any expansion of programs or facilities. And then number 4, we didn't really touch on in the community meeting, but the Image Committee all were in agreement that, once we do something like this, who's in charge? How do we set it up? In the past, we had a city-county commission one time. We've had different iterations of these groups that would oversee recreation in the community. And the Image Committee feels that, we ought to at least look at that and see what works best. There's certainly no need to have duplicate programs. So these 4 things are guiding us as we come up with the request for proposals to get a consultant to come look at us. And we're trying to move it forward quickly so we can tie this in with the budget and these hospitality tax, those kind of things. Next thing is also very important, and it's the American Rescue Act Plan of 2021. So as you've seen watching on TV, money is just flowing like a river out of Washington, D.C. It's just, unbelievable the amount of money coming down. $1.9 trillion from the act signed on March 11th. And of that $1.9 trillion, $65.1 billion will go directly to county governments. Now, currently it's estimated that Marlboro County will take in almost $6 million, that we will receive almost $6 million. That's a good thing. The difficult thing is, like a lot of federal legislation, it's very complicated and nobody can make sense of it. There's no clear set of rules right now for what the money can be used for, it's very generally to be used to stimulate the economy and those sort of things, but we're waiting on the real rules for that. Now, if we look at it as a way of promoting the local economy and assisting with infrastructure, that was the other thing, then, we can come up with ideas, staff can come up with ideas, council can meet and discuss ideas, such as, one idea was to go on all of our unpaved roads and put rock on them. That's something we hear from our folks a lot. It's not enough money there to pave everything, but maybe we could fix the roads like we've done in some cases. I've personally seen a revolving loan fund work well in another community I was involved in, where if someone wants to start a business and they can go borrow 80% at the bank, and they need that 20%, this would be a way to get it. We could council could decide to set aside money to tear down derelict housing or derelict structures along these gateways in the community. You could make the community look better and take some of these things down. You could use the money to do a study on 4-lane and 38, something that council has in their strategic plan that would cost $100,000 to have a plan, but we really aren't going to get anywhere until you have a plan. Those are just things to throw out there. Once we get the rules, then this will have to be a discussion point with council. We have heard that the money, when it comes down, will have to be spent by 2024. So it's not like they're going to throw $6 million at you and say, spend it in 2 months. It won't work. So this is something want to make sure it's on you all's radar, and as we get information, we'll pass it along to you all. It's a real opportunity. I think the best use is for make things better and not try to use it for paying back anything. We're in pretty good financial shape in that manner. The next item I had up was broadband. We were happy to hear from Sandhill Telephone Co-op that they're going after more CARES Act grants. The last time we did fairly well with that, we had prepared a plan with Sandhill. We had it ready to roll on the shelf, and when the money came, we just handed it to them, and we were approved. So now he's working on, Lee Chambers and I talked today, they're working on the second application. That'll be between $3 and $4 million. What they did the first time, as we've talked, is they ran the main lines. They ran to Clow, they ran up number 9, they ran some up 38, they ran down 38. This is to spread out from there, which is, really the need. It's one thing to have that big pipe running down the road in front of you, but if you can't connect to it, it doesn't do you much good. So we're going to, the county staff is going to help him with maps and getting letters of support and those kind of things. And we think it'll be a little bit smoother than the last process, and we'll know something here pretty soon. So that's a really good thing. The final item I had on my report was I-73. With all this money flowing, there's talk again about I-73. The governor mentioned it yesterday. Marlboro County Council previously expressed their opposition to I-73 based on the view that it would have a negative impact. It would only have 3 interchanges in the county, create a barrier in some cases between sides of the county, increasing emergency responses or even people traveling to and from their families. And also the fact that it would very likely create a situation where folks coming through would keep going through. Now, I know there are a lot of folks that think this is the economic salvation of the county, but we've been hearing that for 30 years. From that opposition came the idea of 4-lane and 38, which also could benefit from this money coming from Washington. So, again, something for your put on your radar, something council may want, Mr. Chairman may want to discuss and consider revisiting very soon, so that can have a position on this. It is my understanding that folks and leaders like you all in Dillon are also opposed to it for the same reasons. So just want to make you aware of that. I don't, we've been talking about it for 30 years, but the way the money is flowing, who knows? So we need to be on our toes and make sure whatever it is y'all do want to do, for or against, you know about it and you're ready to express your opinion. I have maps with photographs that you can look at and see there's Billy Bob's house and here's the interstate. So if you want to take a look, you can come by my office or I'll send them to you. That's my report. I can try to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from Ms. Moreland? All right, yeah, we need to, we have had talk about I-73 in, years past about what it would do. I mean, and they still told us that whenever the last meeting we were, it would be 25 to 30 years before the northern part would even be completed. So, I mean, it's still, that's a long time before I-73 would even do anything for us, and our local businesses was against it. I mean, they survive on a lot of beach traffic. I mean, so we've heard that in the times past, so we need to revisit and I think still decide what stance the council wants to take still at this time. So we'll try to get, can you send that stuff out, especially the new council members,
Yes.
and all of us again, let us look at it.
Yes, sir.
And I will try to have something for our next meeting. We can have it, and I guess we'll make a statement then. Any more comments from Mr. Morgan or questions? All right. Up next is, we have one citizen to speak, Ms. Pearlie Lawson. Is that correct, Ms. Pearlie? Yeah.
Good evening, council members, with Chairman Steen and council members, and Mr. Munn, thank you so much. I came as a follow-up with requests from last month concerning flooding. And of course, you know that I listened to the news last night. The Senate in Columbia is also talking about the flooding for the Horry County area. And they focus on Horry County, but we want to be sure that somebody's also focusing on Marlboro County. A few days ago, well, when we came to the meeting, follow up that we wanted to find a way for the city, the county, and the state to work together in order that whatever issues about flooding is taking place in our area, that we work as partnership. Unfortunately, sometimes it hadn't been happening, but we hope that with the monies coming in and things like that, we hope that it does happen. Wanted to let you know that a letter was sent to the Honorable Tom Rice, the Honorable Gerald Malloy, the Honorable Kent Williams, the Honorable Patricia Hennigan, and the Honorable Jackie Hayes, addressing from the Marlboro County branch NAACP, addressing the supporters, citizens for flooding. And in this letter, I won't go into the whole bunch of it, but just the basic, to let them know that we would like their support in making sure that they work with our local, city, and county government officials and Marlboro County Council members to obtain state and federal funding, as well as grant funding to develop a permanent solution to ease the burden for the people affected by flooding in the areas of Marlboro County. They were given pictures, shared those pictures with y'all of the Richardson Park area and in the Clio area, because it is a real problem. We're not in the hurricane season yet, but we all know that we'll be in the hurricane season. So we wanted to say that, not here as adversaries, none of that, but we want to support that. Ms. Hennigan and I had a long conversation. She and I did talk about the American Rescue Plan over the weekend, and those funding will be coming down for that. I know there's a meeting set up with the city officials. I'm not sure about whether it was county, but I do know that conversation was, she and I had a conversation about that. But wanted to let you know that we did a follow-up and wanted you to know that we were going to do all we can to respect the council, but to work together with the council, because I'm a regular citizen, but people call me also. I'm not serving as an elected official, I'm serving as a citizen, because it affects people that I know in the Richardson Park area, but it also affects people I know in the town of Clio, because that's my original hometown. That's where my mom lived. So I just want to say that. And finally, just want to congratulate again on the good work that I hear from the council and the things that's being put in place. But I want you to know that the redistricting is a biggie for me, for Marlboro County, and I want to know that, to let you know that there's been training going on for the county members and city members, and there's going to be a training on May. The lawyer, John Ruff, gave a lot of training, so I would like for the county to be a part of that. But when the meetings are coming, wanted to know that the Marlboro County branch and NAACP very much like to be around the table when you start drawing those plans, and any citizens, because public meetings needs to be held. But just want to share with you, work together with you, any information I get with the census. Now that I have your address, Mr. Moneyline, I will make sure you get it, but there's a lot of training with the census about housing and things like that, and number of households. That report, as far as how many was our data, won't come out to September. But I wanted you to know that we want to work together with the Marlboro County Council. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Burley. All right. Start with Mr. Woods.
First of all, I'd like to recognize and thank Councilman Scott and Councilman Abraham for coming and sitting in our meeting. It's glad to see y'all. I know we talked this one time before about having a joint county and city meeting. I really would think it would be a good time to go ahead and push forward with that meeting so we can collaborate, brainstorm, because we got a lot of things. We start working together. We need to start meeting ahead of time before the study come in, so we can when the study come in, we can be at least 1 or 2 steps ahead. I think that'd be a good time to do it for the county and city council members to get together and sit down and a round table and chew the fat a little bit and get some ideas from each other, feed off each other. Like I said, we know the virus is still out there. You know, we still got to be maxed up, but although people do have shots, we hope more citizen in Facebook world, you know, we know a lot of people's on the fence. Should I take it? Should I not take it? It's your own decision, but you know, it's out there for a reason. So I think we should encourage family members, if you have taken it already, encourage family members to say, let's do it. You know, it's there for a reason. So I think that'd be a good move, a good gesture to push our family members and friends to take that shot. Yeah, that's it. I'm short tonight.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank Lawson for coming and briefing us with that, and I'm gonna speak for all the council up here. I think they will support whatever we need to do for helping with that you talked about tonight. Also, I would like to congratulate Miss Bundy, anniversary. You celebrated the anniversary, and so there was a couple more things I wanted to say about the. I had a lady that called me about cleaning up some places down off of, I think it's off of State Street down there. I think it is. That it was talking about they needed cleaning and everything. And so I told her I would pass it on to Mr. Cabot. Actually, I got another lady that Miss Dwayne Grace, I think it is. I think I mentioned it to you. Dwayne Grace, down off of the bypass there. He called me also about some issues that they're having. So I think I called you today, but I never did get you. But Dwayne Grace, that Miss, what's his mama name? Miss Ella, that's right, Miss Ella Grace, thank you. Miss Ella Grace, I also talked to her, and she's concerned about what's going on right across in the front of her, some stuff that don't look so good. And I went down there and looked at it, and it sure don't look good. So I don't know what we can do about that, but I told her I'll send Mr. Cabot down there, and he can talk to them about it, see what you can do for them. Let me see, what else? Now that I know that, okay, the issue for is getting somebody for the boards that we have now open. So now I understand that we don't have to have them out of a district. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that's been the case for a lot of them already, but now none of them require that.
Okay.
I don't think there were any that require that, were there? It shouldn't be unless it's some kind of state law, but for the most part, all of them, you can pick someone from anywhere,
Okay.
as long as they're registered voters.
Okay. So now that I do have, I think I have 2 boards that's open. So not knowing that now, I know that I can get somebody in them now. But I've been having a problem in my district. But outside the district, I know I can find someone to cover the ones that I don't have. So I will definitely have those names for you when I come back to the next meeting. I think that's about all I have to say. Okay.
I'd like to thank Ms. Lawson for informing us. The issues that she's talking about is very important, particularly to the members that live in those flooded areas, for the citizens that live in those flooded areas. It's important for them to see us trying to, honestly do something for them and help them. Right. Thank you for that, Ms. Lawson. And the meeting with the council, I thank you all for coming once again. I want to echo Mr. Woods there, Councilman Wood. Thank you for coming. But I would like to request the meeting, set up a meeting with you guys sooner than later, and let's just brainstorm, see what we can come up with that. Happy anniversary, Ms. Bundy. You do a fantastic job, I'm telling you, you really do. And I'd like to thank Ron for addressing that issue with my appointment. I really do.
Again, I'd like to thank Ms. Lawson for her diligent efforts to contact our elected delegates and informing them of the issues that we're having here with the flooding and asking for their support. I think she said something, this is not an adversarial process. You know, all of us are in this together, and we have to collaborate, you know, with our elected delegates and our other elected officials to make sure that we do what's best for all of our citizens here in Marlboro County. I know, you know, you get a lot of calls, and I know it's you know, not a lot of fanfare, but we want to make sure that we acknowledge your efforts, and personally, you have our support in making sure that we address those needs for those citizens who continually are affected by that flooding for 50-plus years. In regards to our city council members that are here, thank you for attending. And I would suggest, you know, not only meeting, but go ahead and set in a date and a time that we can collaborate and utilize whatever equipment that we have from the county level and do what we can. You know, we know that there's some blockages and some debris and some things in Crooked Creek that we have the capacity to take care of, and not just meet and strategize, meet and set a plan to be able to go ahead and do what we can for those citizens. It's dry now, it's not raining, you know, but we know in a couple of weeks, it could be next week, the rain will come. We have an opportunity to go ahead and do what we can. We can't do everything, but there's some things that we can do, and I think those citizens will be very, very pleased with our efforts and doing something instead of just talking that we're going to do something and years and go around and we don't make those efforts to do so. I also like to acknowledge one of my loyal and vocal and hardworking district members, Ms. Sylvia, and she's working hard in her district. We asked that we take a look at over there in Edgefield Lane, and they've been asking for some relief with the dirt road, whether it's paving, whether it's something to alleviate the problem that they've been having in that area. And I think they've addressed the council before. They've been before the transportation board, or, you know, they've done their due diligence. And so I ask that we take a look at what can be done in that area to help them in that particular area. I thank council members, you know, for what they're doing. I know everybody have their own issues in their own district, but we are one county. And if we can continually work together, if we can continue to have one mind, and that is the betterment of Marlboro County, I think there's some things that can continually be accomplished in our county. You know, it's really time for us to really and truly put our money where our mouth is, for lack of a better word. And you know, I heard our administrator say that we're in good financial shape. You know, so we can do some things. We can't do everything, but there's some things that we can do, and I implore us to look outside ourselves and look out for the next person and make sure that we do our very, very best to make sure Marlboro County is a safe place for everybody to live, work, and play. Thank you.
I'd like to commend Ms. Lawson and her efforts once again. And I'd like to thank City Council members for coming tonight, and look forward to working with you, the city in the future on future endeavors. That's it.
I concur with everybody here, and I agree with Ms. Plato that I think it'll be a whole lot easier that we can get people on these committees that we need and serve a whole lot easier now, because with the COVID, that was one reason you couldn't get nobody didn't want to get out. So hopefully that'll kind of ease up now. And, you know, a lot of times you can get a better qualified person, might be just outside your county, but that'd be the best person to be on it. So I agree with that, because it's for the whole county. It ain't just for one section, and I like that idea. So I think that'll help me a lot to help us all.
Congratulations, Patricia, on your anniversary, and everybody else that was on the list. Ms. Pearlie, thank you for coming. Always something positive to do. Always involved with something that's going to help all the people in Marlboro County. For those of you that's been waiting on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because it's a one-shot deal, well, it was suspended today by the FDA to do further studies on it. No kind of reasoning other than they think it needs some more studies. I've had some friends that said they were holding out for one vaccine. Well, it's suspended officially today. As you well know, there's been a lot of shootings around the country involving law enforcement. Not necessarily that law enforcement officers per se have had to respond to a lot of calls that's put them in a position of danger. So I always keep Sheriff and his officers and the policemen in the county, keep them in mind, because every time they go on a call, they don't ever know how it's going to turn out. And it's just very important to say your prayers for them every night, because they do a very dangerous job 24/7, 365 days a year. That's pretty much all I got.
Sure. All right. You have anything?
Mr. Odom, for what you just said, because we've been dealing with a situation pretty much all day in our neighboring county, trying to help them with a situation like that. So again, we thank y'all so much, and certainly I would ask y'all to keep me and my staff in your prayers, because it's some trying times out here what's going on with law enforcement. And again, thank y'all so very, very much.
Thank you. Just to say, I do want to thank city council members for coming. And so, like I said, we tried to, get a meeting years ago. We tried to collaborate with the school district, and I don't think we've ever got with the city, but we'll try to make something happen and get a topic. I think one topic's been, flooding, and I think Ms. Pearlie, thank you for coming and talking about that. I know you mentioned Conway. I do know Tom Rice, Congressman Rice has worked to, they've done some things to help alleviate the problem. So the plan is they've got a meeting this week, and I'll be going down to talk to find out what they did. I mean, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel, so you can let everybody know, the administrator and I, and I think some others are going to try to go down, at least just find the information and bring it back, so we'll be able to know what we got, what there is available out there for us. So, they have done that, and, as we said before, if you don't have to reinvent the wheel, find out what worked and bring it back so we can try to apply it to here. Everybody thinks you're not doing anything, but it is, and we do work. It just, and you say, well, you meet one month and you meet the next month, and if working with government bodies and other organizations, it takes time to get it, but we are continuing to work. We do want to alleviate that problem if it's possible a way, to completely resolve it. I mean, there's always something to look at, and so we want to, if there's a way, if somebody else has done it, we want to find out how they done it and bring it back to Marlboro County. And I think that will be huge for us. I think the litter problem, I think I seen this past week where transport police is targeting litter from big trucks. And I think the Highway Patrol from the state has asked to start writing litter enforcement for all our roads. So I was asked a couple weeks ago, somebody made a comment to me about the roadsides, and surely they would notice all of the trash that was thrown up, and it was thrown on my land. I told them I picked up 6 bags that was thrown from the state, dug the ditches and threw it into my yard and into my field. I picked up 6 bags of trash within a quarter-mile stretch, and and so I have taken notice, and my response was, we try to put a trash can at every household, and we got a place at a convenience center to throw every big object. So then you go by the next day and there's a couch laying beside the road. We all up here, everybody up here, I think I can speak for ourselves. We're going to do what's best for Marlboro County, but if the people don't take pride, there's nothing we can do. It's up to the people to take pride in our own county. I mean, we work hard to figure out what to do, and you got these convenience centers that take couches, you could just bring whatever to put them in there, but yet they'll throw them off beside the road 2 miles from the convenience center. We can't fix that. It takes everybody to take pride in what they're doing. If they'll take pride in it, it'll almost clean up itself. Every resident has a trash can. You should be able to bring your McDonald's bag and put it in there, and every resident that needs to get rid of a couch or a recliner, carry it to the convenience center. If there's something else that would work, please give us the information, and I think I'll speak for all of us up here. We'll apply it and do what we can. But people has to take pride in our county for us to change, especially with the litter. Used to, you go across the state line, you didn't see litter. But guess what you see when you go in North Carolina right now? It's just as bad as South Carolina. And so, you know, and I take pride. I think the good Lord give us this place to take care of, and it's our responsibility to take care of it. And so, and you know, it's getting worse. Hopefully the trash cans would alleviate it, but it's not. And, you know, and I don't like it when, you know, I mean, we're going to pick up Saturday, but when you see all kind of things thrown in the ditch, and, you know, and you just picking it up and have to dispose of it and fill up a trash can, I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking to know that this is our county. We want industry to come here. We want to try to improve recreation. I mean, we want to do all these things, and, you know, everybody that comes here from the outside is, they're the ones that's going to have to invest. And so, if they don't want to stop our hospitality tax, if they keep on going, I mean, it's not going to be there. So, I mean, if you see somebody littering, contact the appropriate authorities, and let's see if we can put a stop to it. I mean, you know, one thing we can do is call or try to take pride in it. And so, I challenge us all to keep our eyes open and do what we can. Like I said, as the sheriff, we commend you and we pray for you in your department every day. You know, we can talk about all kind of things, but evil's present. It's more present today than ever before, and we can only imagine what 10 years down the road will be like. So, as Miss Plato say, all we can do is pray. We can pray. So, if we don't have anything else.
Thank you to the artists who made these for us. Appreciate it.
Yes, I think that's from the 4-H. So, thank you. Nothing else? We call this meeting adjourned.